All right, you sick fucks. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're wading into the sewer of K-pop fandom. You think Beliebers are bad? Shit, those teeny boppers are like kindergarten compared to what we're about to unpack. We're talking Sasaeng fans,
Right.
the stalkerazzi on crack, the obsessive superfans who make stalkers look like goddamn amateurs.
It's a fascinating, albeit disturbing phenomenon. Sasaeng fans take their devotion to a whole new level, a level that often crosses the line into criminal behavior.
Let's cut the crap. We're talking batshit crazy here.
Hmm.
These fans don't just buy merch, they buy their way into idols' lives, flights, phone records, even goddamn passports.
Mm.
And you think that's fucked up. Wait till you hear what else they do.
The term sasaeng itself is revealing. It comes from the Korean words for private and life. Essentially, their whole MO is invading the privacy of these idols. It's not some recent internet-fueled trend either. This shit's been brewing for decades, even before social media turned everyone into a potential stalker.
So before Instagram and Twitter, these fans were already pulling off some hardcore shit. Like, how the hell did they even function without Google Maps?
First-generation K-pop groups like HOT and GOD were already dealing with these sasaengs back in the 90s. While the methods may have evolved, the underlying psychology remains the same. A disturbing mix of obsession, delusion, and a desperate need for validation.
All right, let's get into the psychology of these freaks. It can't just be about loving their idols, right? There's got to be something deeper, something way more fucked up going on in their heads.
It goes far beyond typical fandom. It's about a perceived sense of ownership, a desire to be recognized and acknowledged by the idol in a way that sets them apart from other fans. They crave a twisted form of intimacy, a connection they believe can be achieved through these intrusive actions.
Wait, so you're telling me these clowns think stalking and harassing these idols is going to win their hearts? That's some next level delusion, right? What kind of logic is that?
One Sasaeng fan was even quoted as saying, "If I become Sasaeng, they will recognize me." It's this dangerous belief that by becoming a Sasaeng, they'll somehow forge a unique bond with the idol, as if their extreme actions will be met with admiration rather than fear and disgust.
So basically, they're operating on some fucked up fairy tale logic. But how are these sus things different from, say, your typical anti-fan? I mean, both seem pretty intent on making the idol's life a living hell.
There's a crucial distinction. Anti-fans are motivated by hatred. They want to see the idol fail to bring them down. Sasaengs, however, operate from this warped sense of possessiveness. They believe they have a special connection to the idol, and they're willing to go to insane lengths to protect and maintain that perceived connection.
So it's like a toxic one-sided love affair, where the idol doesn't even know they're in a relationship. What's even more disturbing is that these Sasaengs aren't just lone wolves. They've got this whole network, this underground society of stalkers sharing information and coordinating their moves like some goddamn spy agency.
It's a disturbingly organized system. They infiltrate industries that give them access to the idol's information. Airlines, phone companies, even credit card companies. Some even get jobs at entertainment agencies.
So you're saying they're going full-on undercover, risking their own lives just to get closer to these idols. This is way beyond just fanatical. This is some next-level obsessive bullshit.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. They buy information on the dark web. Phone numbers, flight details, even passports. It's a testament to how far they're willing to go and the lengths they'll take to satisfy their obsession.
And let's not forget the infamous Sasaeng taxis, where these assholes shell out hundreds of dollars a day to have a driver follow their idol around like a personal paparazzi. They break traffic laws, stalk them relentlessly, and put people's lives in danger, all in the name of fandom.
It's a lucrative business that preys on this obsessive behavior, a testament to the depths of this issue. But it's crucial to remember that while the Sasaengs might believe they're expressing their love and devotion, their actions have devastating consequences for the idols who are the targets of their obsession.
Yeah, let's not forget, these idols are the real victims here. These aren't just stories. These are people's lives being turned upside down by this insane behavior. And trust me, you won't believe some of the shit these idols have been through. We're talking about members of TVXQ and JYJ getting their phones tapped, apartments broken into, and even one member being poisoned.
It's truly horrific. There are even audio recordings of JYJ members screaming at Sasaengs who were harassing them. The psychological toll this takes on these young performers is immense. It's not just the invasion of privacy, but the constant fear, the anxiety, the paranoia that comes with knowing you're being watched and stalked every minute of the day.
And let's not forget the car accidents caused by these crazed fans chasing idols in cars. Super Junior, Big Bang, GOT7.
Yeah.
They've all been victims of this reckless behavior. It's a reminder that this isn't just about psychological damage. It's about real physical danger, putting lives at risk.
The physical dangers are undeniable. But the long-term psychological damage can be even more devastating. Imagine living with the constant fear of being watched, followed, invaded. Many idols have talked about their paranoia and anxiety stemming from these experiences. The fear of being alone, the inability to trust the feeling of being constantly trapped.
Okay, brace yourselves, folks, because shit's about to get really dark.
Mm-mm.
We need to talk about the blood writing. I mean, what the actual fuck? These lunatics are using their own blood to write messages to their idols. It's happened with 2PM MBLAQ Wonder Girls. Are they trying to start a goddamn cult or something?
It's a truly disturbing tactic that reveals the extreme lengths to which these Sasaengs are willing to go. They believe that such a shocking and personal act will solidify their connection to the idol, make them stand out from other fans, and somehow prove the depth of their devotion.
This is beyond fucked up. This is some straight-up horror movie shit. It shows a complete lack of boundaries, a disconnect from reality, and a level of desperation that's hard to comprehend. So with all this insanity going on, how are the idols and their agencies even fighting back? Are they just sitting ducks, or have they found ways to push back against this tide of crazy?
They've tried various strategies, but it's a constant uphill battle. Some idols have taken to social media to call out these Sasaengs directly, pleading for them to back off and respect their privacy. Taeyeon from Girls' Generation posted screenshots of all the calls she was getting from these freaks, begging them to let her sleep. Key from SHINee called them out on Instagram, saying their behavior was insulting and unbearable, and members of EXO have expressed their frustration and disappointment, pointing out that these Sasaengs are giving all K-pop fans a bad name.
It's good they're speaking out, using their platforms to shine a light on this messed up shit, but let's be real, a tweet ain't gonna stop these obsessive stalkers. What about the agencies? Those guys are raking in millions from these idols. They gotta be doing something to protect their investment right.
Agencies have tried to implement various measures. They issue warnings, increase security, even threaten legal action. But it's incredibly difficult to control a mob of determined individuals who are willing to go to such extremes. Plus, many of these Sasaengs are minors, which makes legal action even more complicated.
So basically, the system is failing these idols. It's like they're trapped in a gilded cage surrounded by adoring fans, yet constantly under threat from these psychotic stalkers.
Yeah.
What about the law? Can't they just throw these creeps in jail where they belong?
South Korea has struggled to effectively address this issue through legislation. Early laws were weak, with pathetic fines that did little to deter these obsessed fans. In recent years, they've attempted to implement harsher penalties, including jail time. But it's debatable whether this will truly be a deterrent or just a Band-Aid on a gaping wound.
So is this just a Korean thing? Or could any fandom, any group of obsessed fans go this batshit crazy? I mean, you've got your Beliebers, your Swifties, those Comic-Con freaks who camp out for days just to get a glimpse of their favorite superhero. But this Sasaeng shit seems to be on a whole other level of crazy.
While Sasaeng behavior is most closely associated with K-pop, it's important to note that obsessive fan behavior exists in various forms across many fandoms, whether it's music, movies, or even sports. However, there are certain aspects of K-pop culture that might contribute to the intensity of Sasaeng behavior.
All right, let's break this down. What is it about K-pop that breeds these super stalkers?
The K-pop idol industry is highly manufactured and image-driven. Idols are marketed as being perfect accessible, almost like these flawless gods and goddesses who descend from the heavens to grace us with their presence. It creates this false sense of intimacy, blurring the lines between fantasy and reality for some fans.
So you're saying the industry is partially responsible for creating this monster. They're selling this manufactured fantasy, and some fans are buying it hook, line, and sinker, to the point where they lose touch with reality.
It's not about placing blame, but it's important to acknowledge that the way idols are presented and marketed can contribute to this obsessive behavior. It's like they're selling a dream, a carefully constructed illusion. And some fans get so caught up in that illusion that they lose sight of the fact that these idols are real people with real lives, not just characters in their fantasy.
And K-pop's global reach doesn't help either. With millions of fans worldwide thanks to the internet and social media, it's like a breeding ground for these obsessive behaviors. Information spreads like wildfire, and the assassins can connect with each other, share tactics, and basically create this global network of creeps.
Exactly. Social media plays a significant role, allowing for the rapid dissemination of information, coordination of activities, and even the buying and selling of personal information related to idols.
So what the fuck can we do about it? Are we just going to sit back and watch as these Sasaengs continue to terrorize these idols? Is there any hope of stopping this madness?
It's a complex issue, but I believe there are steps we can take to combat this problem. Stronger laws and harsher penalties are a good start, But they're just one piece of the puzzle. We need to address the cultural factors that contribute to this behavior.
All right, let's get practical. What are we talking about here? Public service announcements telling fans not to be stalkers. Mandatory therapy sessions for anyone caught buying an idol's used underwear on the dark web.
It needs to be a more comprehensive approach. We need to educate fans about healthy boundaries, about respecting the privacy of these artists. The industry needs to take responsibility for how they market and portray idols, emphasizing their humanity and making it clear that they're not just commodities to be consumed.
So, like, plop the fantasy bubble a bit. Show these fans that their idols are flawed human beings just like the rest of us. No more perfect, unattainable gods and goddesses, just regular folks who sing and dance for a living. Do you think that would actually work?
It's not a guaranteed solution, but it's a step in the right direction. We also need to encourage open dialogue about mental health within the industry. Idols need to feel comfortable speaking out about the impact this behavior has on them, and they need access to support and resources to cope with the trauma.
I'm seeing a pattern here. It seems like tackling this Sasaeng problem requires a multi-pronged attack. Hit them with the law, educate the fans, make the industry accountable, and provide support for the idols. Sounds like a goddamn military operation.
You could say that it's a multifaceted issue that requires a multifaceted solution. It's not going to be easy, but it's a fight worth fighting.
I'm glad you're fighting the good fight,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
this shit's depressing as hell. We started this deep dive talking about how fucked up this whole Sasaeng thing is, and it just keeps getting worse the more we learn about it. It's like a never-ending spiral.
It's definitely a dark side to an otherwise vibrant and entertaining industry. But it's crucial to acknowledge these issues so we can work towards a better future for both idols and fans. A future where fandom is about passion and creativity, not obsession and harassment.
Okay. I need a break from this depressing shit. Let's lighten the mood a bit. You've been researching this topic for a while now. What are some of the craziest Sasaeng stories you've come across? I'm talking about the kind of shit that makes you laugh because it's so absurd, so outlandish, that it can't possibly be true.
Well, there was this one incident where a group of Sasaeng fans snuck into an idol's hotel room and stole his underwear.
You're kidding me. They risk jail time, finds a criminal record, just to steal some dude's dirty laundry.
Right.
What the actual fuck is wrong with these people?
And then there was the time when a Sasaeng fan disguised herself as a janitor to get backstage at a concert. She almost pulled it off, too, until she was caught trying to steal a member's hairbrush.
A hairbrush? Seriously, what are they going to do with a used hairbrush? Sell it on eBay to some other creepy fan.
Actually, that's not far off. Some Sasaeng fans do sell stolen items online. There's a whole black market for idol memorabilia fueled by this obsessive desire to possess anything that belonged to their idol.
It's like a twisted version of those religious relic hunters. Except instead of searching for pieces of the cross, they're after an idol's chewed up gum or a strand of their hair.
It's a disturbing reflection of the lengths to which these fans will go and the bizarre value placed on these items.
Speaking of bizarre, didn't we read about some Sasaengs who tried to force idols into marriage? Like straight up marry me or else type shit.
Yes, there have been multiple cases of Sasaeng fans attempting to force idols into marriage. Some have even gone so far as to forge marriage certificates.
What the actual fuck? Do they think that's going to work? Like they're going to waltz into their idol's house, wave a fake marriage certificate in their face, and suddenly they'll be living happily ever after.
It's a level of delusion that's hard to fathom. It highlights the disconnect from reality, the warped sense of entitlement, and the dangerous belief that their obsession gives them the right to control the idol's life.
All right, I think my brain has officially reached its limit for K-pop crazy today. This shit's wild, man.
It's been a rather intense deep dive, to say the least.
So for those of you listening who thought K-pop was all sunshine, rainbows, and synchronized dance moves, well, now you know the truth. It's a world where obsessive fans will stop at nothing to get close to their idols, even if it means breaking the law, harming themselves, and terrorizing these young performers.
It's a stark reminder of the dark side of fandom culture, the dangers of obsession taken to the extreme, and the need for greater awareness and action to protect artists from harassment.
Word. And if you're ever tempted to steal someone's underwear, break into their apartment, or write them a love letter in your own blood, just remember, there's a special place in hell reserved for Sasaeng fans.
Hopefully it won't come to that. But on a serious note, if you or someone you know is struggling with obsessive fan behavior, please seek help. There are resources available to support you and guide you towards a healthier relationship with fandom.
Right on. All right, that's it for this week's Deep Dive. Join us next time as we delve into another fascinating and potentially disturbing topic. Until then, stay safe out there, and for fuck's sake, don't be a Sasaeng fan.